Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukraine says at least 39 people are dead and dozens wounded after rockets hit a train station in the city of Kramatorsk. Bloody covered platforms were the result. Video footage of the victims too horrifying to broadcast. Over 100 people were injured in the blast. Moments earlier, this was the scene. Thousands of people at the station trying to flee Russian attacks. The Donetsk governor said Russia fired cluster munitions at the station. As so often, though, the Kremlin denied any involvement. Yet another tragic bombing in a long list that has taken so many innocent lives. World leaders have yet again condemned the attacks. I will start with what happened this morning. Russian forces hit the train station in our city of Kramatorsk. An ordinary train station, ordinary people. There were no military personnel there. There were people who were waiting for a train to get to safe territory. Russian forces hit with missiles. There are witnesses, there are videos, there are remains of missiles. People are gone. At least 30 dead, about 300 wounded. That's for now. Meanwhile, earlier, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen boarded a train in Poland en route to Kiev. She was going alongside the EU's top diplomat, Josep Borrell, and Slovak Prime Minister Eduard Heger. A few hours later, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held talks with von der Leyen, focusing on steps the EU can take to help Ukraine and bring an end to the war. The suspension of Russia's membership at the United Nations Human Rights Council yesterday will set a new dangerous precedent. That's according to China's foreign ministry spokesman. Zhao Lijian criticized the removal of Russia from the council at a press briefing in Beijing.
It's gross and systematic violations of human rights.
It's after an emergency special session and vote to remove Russia due to atrocities in Ukraine passed by 93 votes to 24. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has said the Palestinian who carried out Thursday's attack in Tel Aviv had accomplices and pledged that they would pay a heavy price. Every killer should know that we will reach him, and everyone helping terrorists will pay the price, he said during a news conference in Tel Aviv. It comes hours after Israeli security forces shot dead a Palestinian in his car after he killed 2 people in a Tel Aviv bar. The bar attack was the latest in a string of deadly street assaults that have killed 13 people and shaken the country. A search and rescue operation for 3 missing European divers has continued for the 3rd day off Malaysia's southeastern coast. Local maritime authorities said the search area off a small island about 15 kilometers from the southern state of Johor had been expanded and were optimistic of finding the divers, as they had fully functioning diving equipment and had surfaced before they had disappeared. A Norwegian woman who was diving with the group has now been found safe. Hundreds more Sydney residents have been ordered to leave their homes, some for the 2nd time in a month, with rivers bursting their banks. A man was found dead after his vehicle was swept away by floodwaters in the city's southwest, while roads were submerged and homes and businesses are inundated. More than 4,000 residents are facing flood evacuations. Australia's east coast has been hammered by 3 separate wild weather patterns in the past 6 weeks, with several regions still battling to clear tons of debris after devastating floods submerged entire towns.
Whilst the rainfall has started to ease in most places, we do expect to see those river levels continue to rise for some time before they start to ease back over the next 12 to 24 hours. So what that really means for us is that we will continue to have flooded waterways and flooded river systems for a number of days yet to come.
And finally, Costa Rica's international airport has reopened hours after a Boeing 757-200 cargo aircraft, operated by DHL, made an emergency landing and skidded off the runway. Images from the site showed a yellow plane emblazoned with the DHL logo being doused with firefighting foam where it had landed on a field next to a runway. The tail had detached and a wing had broken. Airport operator Aeris said the airport on the outskirts of the capital San Jose reopened following the 10 a.m. incident. Some 8,500 passengers and 57 commercial and cargo flights were affected by the closure. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.